Creative Nomad, presented by TrueAwesomeLife.com. I'm your host, JP Adkins, and I created this podcast because I want to tell the stories of the radicals, the ones who are out there making the world a better, more beautiful place, the amazing authors, artists, musicians, thought leaders, coaches, and yes, nomads who are out there living their true awesome lives and want to help others do the same. Are you ready to live your true awesome life? Go to TrueAwesomeLife.com and start your journey today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Creative Nomad. Today, I am so blessed. I have with me Brandon Davis, and I was having internet problems at home. I'm sorry we're a couple minutes late. You see that we're running a little bit late. I had to run over, and I'm at Vertical Coffee here in Cookeville, Tennessee. They're absolutely amazing. I'm having a honey lavender latte. I was like, that sounds so odd and so delicious. I had to try it, and it really is. You should try it. If you are in Cookeville, come into Vertical. They are an amazing place. But you might hear background noise. You might hear coffee going. Just wanted to put that out there so you guys know what's going on. So, Brandon, you're such an amazing person. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Perfect. Yeah. First off, thanks for having me to the show. It's an honor. I got a message from you, 3-4 weeks ago now, just saying, hey, I want to have you on my show. And I was like, sweet, that sounds amazing. Let's do it. So yeah, my name's Brandon Davis. I'm originally from California. I've kind of moved around a lot recently. I lived in Brazil for about a year, lived in Texas for about a year. Currently in Utah. I'm actually moving out to Tennessee for the summer in just a couple weeks here. So I just like bouncing around. A little bit about me. I'm currently a college student studying business. I host a podcast called Get Over Yourself. It's all about self-development and self-improvement and whatnot. And my main target is just hitting all these college students who face so much stress and anxiety and aren't sure of where they want to go in their life. And so I just interview people and help people understand that they can be a little bit better each and every day. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And, I love that you're a college student and you realize that we get caught in this trap, right? That we have to be perfect all the time and we have to get into this American dream kind of thing. And you've been working really hard to help people kind of get over all that stress and anxiety. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
So what brings you to Tennessee?
So I'm actually moving out there for a job during the summer. I mean, I got to pay off my college tuition. As we all know, podcasting is generally a labor of love. It doesn't come with too much money behind it. So I'm moving out there just to work for a little bit. And then I'll be coming back here to Utah in August for school again.
Oh, fun. So I can tell you, Tennessee has been very amazing for me. I've been here since October. Definitely go. The state parks are amazing. Like there's waterfalls all over the place. You're gonna be in Nashville. I mean, come on.
Music galore,
right?
Beautiful things outside. That's another thing I forgot to mention about me. I love the outdoors. And so, yeah, I'm going to be loving it out there for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So, that's a lot about what you do. But Brandon, who are you really at your core?
Yeah, that's a very deep question. That's something in kind of my podcast I reflect on a lot, right? Because in order to help people realize that they have a better version of themselves, that's something you obviously have to be working on constantly. And some people may think, well, you're just a college student, you still got plenty of time to figure it out. But I kind of live by the principle that why wait for something? If you want to achieve something great, why not start today? Start while you're young. Start when you can. Start the second you think about it, really. So at my core, that's kind of who I am. I'm a Christian. I'm a huge Dodger baseball fan. I love being outside. I love being with my friends and family and just helping people. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I started the Get Over Yourself podcast, is just because I recognize there's so many people, in college age students specifically, that just struggle. They just need somebody to motivate them. They need somebody to help them out, where they might not have the courage, but they can hear somebody say something that might spark a little interest just like that. So that's kind of some of my main core beliefs. I just want to help people. That's what I'm here for.
I love it. Yeah, I think that we got in the story of we all bought into the story that adulting is hard, right? And
I'd agree with that.
and don't get me wrong, the struggle can be real, right? Or it doesn't have to be. And we get into this thing where it's adulting is relentless. Every day you have to adult, right?
Yeah,
You don't get a day off of adulting, and even when you do take a day off of adulting, that means you have twice as much to do tomorrow.
exactly. There's always something.
There's already something. Dishes and laundry. You're gonna make it. You're gonna dirty a dish. And you're gonna wear some clothes. So unless you walk around naked all day and get takeout, you're that's what's
Even then,
gonna
you got to
happen.
throw it away, right?
Right.
There's something.
You're getting garbage, right? You gotta clean a toilet. So, but it doesn't necessarily. One of the things I like about your podcast is that it reminds us that it doesn't necessarily have to be a struggle. You really can adult, and you're starting young, right? Because, and it's kind of breaking them of that idea that it's not necessarily hard. It's just things you have to do.
Hmm.
You can either struggle with it, or you can make it empowering to you.
Exactly.
So I really appreciate that. So, you know, what is it that you want to do? I know this is such a hard question but you're so young, right? So, and wow, I'm getting older as I keep thinking. I
Oh
just
no,
I
don't
said
even
that out loud.
stress.
I just said that out loud. But literally, you're probably half my age at this point, right? So, where do you see yourself going? You're in college right now. Where do you see yourself moving towards?
I mean, that's a question I think you can ask anyone my age, any college student, and 9 times out of 10, people are going to answer with pretty much my same response. I don't know. Every single day, life brings a new journey. I'm constantly meeting new people. I'm seeing different careers that I find so much interest in. I'm finding new opportunities. Every single day I walk outside of my house, I'm finding new opportunities that you just can't get many places. And that's kind of one of the things I love about college. Um, it's just the fact that every day brings a new adventure, right? I love adventuring and I love experiencing new things. And so I guess in the future I see myself doing all sorts of different things. I grew up watching Shark Tank. I love entrepreneurship. I love starting companies. I love just experiencing different little things where when I actually go out and get to try something, I get to learn from it. And as soon as I learn that thing, I get to apply it into my life, hopefully help some people out, and then I move on and find something else I enjoy. So as broad of an answer as this is, I hope that in my future, I'm bouncing around between multiple careers. I want to be doing something new very often. I want to be meeting new people, being in new places because I don't know. I feel like life can get pretty stagnant sometimes. And I just want to be able to have the ability to do all sorts of different things and keep life interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things I think that is great about that response is that many people don't see it that way, right? And they get stuck in this view of this is what I want to do, and they get in this focus, right? And they forget that it's a journey. They forget that there's things to try. Um, One of the reasons I went on the road is actually because I got stuck. I worked a job. I worked multiple different. I ran a company for a long time. I did, but I wasn't actually going out. I wasn't actually doing stuff. I wasn't
Hmm.
actually experiencing. And I wanted to go to New Orleans since I was 11 years old, 12 years old, when the first time I read Interview with Vampire. So why the hell have I never been to New Orleans?
Why not?
Right. I work online. So, I was just like, what is it that I need to do to make that happen and experience life outside of this? And I lived in a couple different places, and that didn't change anything because what I would do is I would go to that place and I would work.
Hmm.
And I might be working something cool and interesting, and I experienced some really cool things while I was working, but I pretty much worked. And now I realize that there's a balance to be had where you're living more life, and your job, your career, your business should be supporting that, not being that.
Hmm.
And there's a difference, and I see that a lot in you. So, you know, talk to me a little bit about your podcast. Tell me, who do you love having on? What's
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of a little background on the podcast. I started it August of last year, so it's still pretty fresh. We haven't even hit a year mark yet. Currently have about 1,600 listeners every month, so it's growing at a steady rate. But the main people I interview on the podcast are coaches, high executives, people who live in a van. It ranges from all different types of people, from the high of the high to the low of the low, but people who are truly happy, people who have found success in their own lives. Because one thing I've noticed, and granted, like I said, I'm turning 21 here in a couple weeks. I'm not even 21 yet, right? I'm not even legal to drink or anything.
Right.
But something I've noticed in my own life is that so many people get bogged down with certain areas that they can't go out and experience things that they love. Like you said, you're working all the time, even though you're in fun places, but you're working. And granted, like to me, I love working. I love working on the podcast. I love working. I have a little clothing company I'm just starting. I go to school full time. Like there's a million things I'm always working on. But on the podcast, what I'm trying to help people understand is that it's okay to combine some of your efforts. It's okay to go all in on things. It's okay to kind of find what you have that's enjoyable in your life, make a career around it. In our world today, you can make a career around anything. So if you truly enjoy something, why not go do it forever? And that's my personal belief. So if I'm interviewing a coach for that, they can explain how they've been able to use their ability to talk with people, to motivate people, to help them in their relationships, and they can help people figure out that that's what they want to do. If I'm talking with a CEO, they could talk about how they've become successful in the views of the world with money or with houses or whatever. Or if I'm talking to like one of my favorite episodes I've done, it was a guy who every single dollar he made, he put it into a travel fund, and he just goes around the world and donates his time. He just travels somewhere and serves the people for a month and then goes back, makes some more money, and then heads somewhere else. I
Love
just
it.
find that so interesting because like everyone views success in their own way. And so I like getting a combination of everyone. And so when people listen to the podcast, they can think, wow, that sounds amazing. That strikes my interest. I want to pursue that.
Yeah, I think that when I was growing up, we were still in the idea. It wasn't broken yet. Um, Although it was already broken, we were still in that idea because
Yeah.
I grew up in the baby boomers were still like you
Yep.
could still get a pension when I was growing up, and we were just starting to get 401k, saying no, you're not going to get a pension, and no, you're not going to have Social Security, and no, you're not going to have all that. So what does it look like when you're doing it yourself? You don't have to be working for 30 years for a company because there's no reason to.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give you a benefit for you working with you for 30 years, and they'll replace you tomorrow. This at will idea. So one of the things I find refreshing for your generation is that you already see that's broken. You already see that that's not there for you, right? And so you're, what is it that I want to do? What is it that looks like I want to do? And I find that so important. And what is my definition of success? Not my parents and not my grandparents and not
Mm-hmm.
my great grandparents at that point, because it's my grandparents. So it would be your, even maybe great great grandparents. God, I'm old. Um,
Got to stop bringing yourself down like that.
it's just funny. It's because you don't. I'll tell you something about being the age I am. I'm 44. Okay, and what you realize here is that you're not young anymore. I can't. Okay. Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? You're on mute. Mute.
All right, now that's fun. You're back. Hello, hello.
How about now? Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
It's coming in now. It's not coming in perfect. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, I moved the laptop a little bit, and it messed with the audio jack.
Oh, no worries. I can hear you now, so we'll just roll with it.
Welcome to live television.
honestly.
Yeah.
This stuff happens all the time. Anyone who does a podcast or any kind of live show or anything, that this stuff happens, so it's totally good.
It's hilarious. But I'm 44 years old now, right? And
Okay.
I'm not old by any means, but you realize that you're not young anymore. So there's this space that you get to, and you realize that you start saying things that your parents said and people that when you were older said, and you have it in a different perspective because you're like, oh, you're so young, right? And you don't know and you haven't seen. And it's not that you don't know and that you don't know anything. So it's a very odd space because you've lived and experienced a whole set of lifetime, right? So I've been alive more than double the time you have at this point. So I've seen things, and that it's so for me, it's refreshing to see where you are and to get that so early. Whereas it took me another freaking 15 years of life to come up with some of the things that you come at, right? And it's a compliment to you that you got to see this, and it's kind of amazing to me that to see this generation grow up in with this idea that we had to break ourselves of. So I want to thank you for the work that you do. I want to thank you that you kind of got it, right? And you're getting it so early.
Thank you. Yeah. And if I can just add my 2 cents behind that too, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want to go work that corporate job, all power to you. I mean, there's people who do it every single day. They're making a great life for themselves, and these companies are making our lives easier. I love it. But my whole point behind that, I'm not trying to dish on anyone who does that. I'm just saying that we can take the input from everyone. We can take input from a 10-year-old. We can take it from an 80-year-old. Every single person has wisdom, and it just comes down to what you want to use with it. If you like the advice someone gives you, hey, by all means, go for it. Take it by the reins and take it on a ride, right? Go and do what you find is positive. Take the advice from people who've lived that path and apply it into your own life. Apply it to the ways that you live and apply it to the ways that you find joy and comfort. And then spread it a little thin. Take it on your own little route. Take your own experiences of it and just mess around with it. Have fun with it. Learn from it. If you don't enjoy it, go find something else.
Don't get stuck.
Don't get stuck. Yeah.
Don't get stuck. If you know what, I'm ending it right there because I don't think there's anything else that we could possibly say that's going to be more impactful than just what you just said. Brandon, how can people get a hold of you?
Guys, I mean, check out my podcast for one, Get Over Yourself. It's on Apple, Spotify, all the main platforms. You can find me on Facebook at Brandon Davis, Instagram at the.brandon.davis. I'm on LinkedIn. Literally any way you want to connect with me, just search up Brandon Davis. It should pop up. So
should pop up his face somewhere. Make sure it's his face, not someone else's.
Yeah, it's this face right here, usually in a little red circle. So
right. And guys, definitely check him out. His podcast is amazing. As you can tell, bright kid. Wow, a bright person, and I am so happy that I get to learn from him. And so definitely check him out. And look, if you want to check out, I will have all of his information on the show notes page or up above or below wherever you're seeing this wherever this is. So you will see all that. Join us next week. We're going to have another amazing guest. And Brandon, thank you so much for being here today. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks everyone for watching. And yeah, it was a pleasure to be here.
Hey guys, you are all loved.
Thanks for listening to The Creative Nomad Show. If you have any questions about this or any other episode, go to creativenomadshow.com. There's also a link at the bottom. If you are a radical and would like to be a guest, you can apply to be on the show there. Thanks again, and know that you are loved. Awesome Life, we look for the world changers who want to live in creativity, authenticity, and profitability whenever, wherever. So check out trueawesomelife.com and let's get started.